Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Silver Exploration Panel hosted by Sixt. We are joined today with the leaders of three leading silver-focused exploration companies, GR Silver, Monarca Minerals, and Southern Silver. I'm pleased to introduce our panelists for today. We have Marcio Fonseca, President and CEO of GR Silver, Carlos Espinoza, President and CEO of Monarca Minerals, and Robert McDonald, Vice President of Exploration at Southern Silver. In this panel, we will discuss the panelists' views on silver prices, why they believe silver is an attractive investment in 2021, and what's on the horizon for each of their companies and the projects they're working on. As a reminder, you can submit your questions on the Q&A panel on the right-hand side of the screen at any point during the summit, and we'll open the floor to live Q&A after the panel discussion. And as always, the summit is being recorded and will be available to you to watch afterwards on Sixt.com. So without further ado, let's dive right in. Starting with you, Marcio, can you just briefly introduce yourself and your company?
Thank you. Thank you, Dasha. Thank you, Sixt, for the opportunity. My name is Marcio Fonseca. I'm the president, CEO, founder of GR Silver. GR Silver Mining is a company that explores, but also is working in resource expansion in Mexico, Sinaloa, Rosario mining district. Our business is not only to drill, but also to increase the resources and in the next 12, 24 months, potential development of the assets.
Great, thank you so much. On to you, Carlos. Can you please introduce yourself and Monarca Minerals?
Thank you, Dasha, and thank you to the audience for taking the time today on Family Day to learn a little bit about us. I am Carlos Espinoza, President and CEO and Director of Monarca Minerals. We are an exploration company listed on TSX Venture with 3 assets in Mexico. We have 2 assets in the state of Durango. Tejamen is one of the projects, and San Lucas is the other one. And we have an extra project we acquired in 2019 in Chihuahua. We are about to start a drilling program in San Jose. It's a very exciting time for us. We are very, very happy to be in Mexico and very pleased to be today here with you and share a little bit more about us and our plans. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much. And off to you, Robert. Please tell us a bit about yourself and Southern Silver.
Hey, thank you, Dasha, and thank you, Sixt, for inviting me onto the panel. I'm Rob McDonald, the Vice President of Exploration for Southern Silver Exploration. We're a junior exploration company based out of Vancouver, Canada. We trade on the Toronto Stock Exchange Venture Exchange under the symbol SSV, and also on the OTCQB and the Santiago Exchange. We're currently exploring and developing a major project down in southern Durango in Mexico. And I'm quite happy to join the panel and let people know about the project. Thank you.
Wonderful. All right. Well, so we're going to go around in the same kind of order. We have a few questions here for our panelists. So what is your outlook on silver prices in the short to medium term, and what factors influence your view? Starting with you, Marcio.
Thank you. My outlook is very positive based on the following. Although there's a lack of movement in the silver price in the last probably 2 weeks, what I have seen is that the physical market is very strong. A lot of people, investors buying silver coins, trying to buy bullion, but that doesn't really reflect in the future market. So there's a gap between what's going on in each one of those markets. And I saw similar gaps in 2011, February 2011, when silver price was low, probably for $29 per ounce, and 4 months later was close to 49. In 2015, I think silver probably was $14, and 5 months later hit 21. And last year, 1 year ago, March 2020, silver price hit 11, and later, 6 months later, $30. This gap, and together with the macroeconomic environment, there's all the experts forecasting that inflation is more likely to happen with all the deployment of capital. Unfortunately, due to the pandemic, it's likely to potentially trigger a major correction of silver price into 2021, in my opinion.
All right. Very interesting. Carlos, what is your outlook on silver prices in the short to medium term?
I totally agree with Marcio. I think all the market conditions, macroeconomic conditions are aligned for a better price. We see, and we all suffered the pandemic, but also we went through, as a consequence of that, through an economic crisis, and also a lot of changes on a political environment, international political environment, that it's now triggering the demand for silver. As Marcio mentioned, it's a lot of pressure in terms of inflation. Countries or governments are printing money. Policy, let's say, in the case of the U.S., now focused again on more friendly and environmental energy, is going to also demand a lot of silver. So I completely agree with Marcio that we will have a better price. People are talking and just above $30, and I wish I have the ball to tell you a right number, but what I could say is we are definitely very optimistic on the future of silver price. I think we are way behind compared to gold, let's say. So there's still a lot of room to catch up in terms of price, and for investors, it's also a great opportunity to join this wave.
Absolutely. Robert, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts reflect exactly what Marcio and Carlos were saying. I think this is a very bullish environment for silver, for a number of macroeconomic reasons, and as well as physical demand. And I mean, I remember maybe 6-12 months ago reading one pundit, and something struck me about the silver market, and he was saying that silver acts both as an industrial mineral as well as a precious metal, and that there seems to be a tipping point that when it gets to a certain price, it stops acting like a base metal, starts acting like a precious metal. And we may very well be seeing something like that happen within the silver market. I think in the last, certainly in the last 6 months to a year, silver has outperformed gold. And there's, again, various reasons for that, but people do seem to be looking at it as a hedge against inflation and a hedge against, I guess, the inflationary spending related to the pandemic, et cetera, et cetera. And so, yes, I'm very bullish. I think we are going to see higher prices in silver, and the value of silver-based assets that are operating on the stock market doing better as a result.
Great. Well, so I'd love to hear more about each of your projects. What are the most important things investors should know about them? Marcio?
For sure. GR Silver is the first company ever to control the key silver gold assets in the Rosario mining district in Sinaloa. We control 2 projects, the Plomosas and San Marcial. We are acquiring the Trinidad. They are contiguous altogether. This is giving this company control of 75 kilometers of structures, trends, which can be mineralized. And inside these trends, we have 24 old workings with evidence of silver gold quartz veins. But we are very active. At the same stage that we have this big portfolio, we have 2 resource estimations in progress inside the Plomosa Silver Project. We have 5 drill rigs drilling 10,000 meters, but inside that project, Plomosas, we have already a historic 100,000 meters of drilling. We are putting this all together to increase the resource in the next 30, 60 days, very soon. And the San Marcial, that's the other asset, we have already 39 million ounces of silver, 43-101 compliant, which can be open pit, potentially open pit, which is very unusual for a silver mine in Mexico. And these projects are very close together. And I want to remind investors that no company has ever been in such a position like GR Silver, controlling the district and fully funded, have close to 5 million in the bank, good shareholders, and delivering and executing what we told investors 2 years ago, that we are going to acquire projects at low cost. Our acquisition cost is probably less than 20 cents per ounce of silver in the ground, and being concentrating all the work in that district in Mexico.
Great. Carlos, please tell us about your projects with Monarca Mineral.
Hey, thank you, Dasha. The project that we are most excited at this point is San Jose in Chihuahua. It's almost 6,000 hectares of property that we have. We acquired in 2019, and this is unexplored property really, and it's a discovery. We have a great team in Mexico, and our team found this property a few years back, and we took some samples. We did some geophysics even before to make the proposal, and now we are just a few weeks to start our drilling program. We are start drilling 10,000 meters, and we are very confident. We have 10 targets identified. This property is very close to Bismarck mine from Grupo Peñoles, a mine who historically has resources for 12 million tons at 52 grams of silver, and looks like it's a continuity of the geological portion. So we feel that it's going to be a big story to share. In fact, we did a private placement last summer, just raising money specifically for this drilling program. We raised $3 million. We had a great response from institutionals and retail investors. Our share jumped from 5 cents to 15 cents, and we have been around 15 cents, 15, 20 since then. We have a very good liquidity, so investors are happy. We are, of course, happy. And some people are asking if we are raising more money because they want to participate. But our plan had been really focused on this drilling program because we feel so confident on the property that we don't want to come back to the market and raise more money before we have some results to share. We are completely confident that we have a great asset. Our second asset that is also really good is Tejamen. In Tejamen, we have almost 29 million ounces of silver on 43-101 complaint. So it's another great asset. This property has like a 38,000 meters drilling, but the drilling program was very shallow, like 200 meters. So we want to go back and go a deep drilling because we believe this property also has a lot of potential for the future. And the last one is San Lucas, a small property. We are not doing much at this time there because what we planning to do is to increase the land package to make it attractive.
Great. And what about you with Southern Silver, Robert?
Yes, I guess with Southern Silver, our focus is primarily on our flagship project, the Cerro Las Menitas silver, lead, zinc skarn system, located in Durango, Mexico. The asset is one of the largest and highest grade undeveloped silver-based projects in the world, with an inferred and indicated resources of 272 million silver equivalent ounces. It's very well located in Durango. We're right on the edge of the Altiplano. We're not in the mountains, and it's so it makes it quite a safe jurisdiction to be working in. We have infrastructure running right through the project with highways and power lines. Rail lines run right through the project. And so it's a very good project to be working on in a well-established silver mining district. We've just recently purchased 100% control of the project from our former joint venture partner. And that now leaves us well poised to continue exploring on the project, continue developing the project and expanding the resources to make this a much bigger and more valuable project. We are in the process of doing that. We started a drill program with 2 drills in early October, late September, early October of last year. We've just completed the first 10,000 meters of drilling on the project, and we have more to go. We're going to keep drilling and keep expanding the resource. We've had some fantastic results to date. Some absolutely high-grade intercepts and thick zones of mineralization, and I would encourage your viewers to check our website and see that. And so we're very encouraged by our initial results. We're looking at an aggressive expansion program on the resource, and then after that's done, moving the project through the development and the pre-development stage to get it ready for ultimate development.
Absolutely. Thank you. So I want to take a deeper dive into what catalysts are on the horizon in 2021 for your respective companies. Marcio?
GR Silver Mining has a series of catalysts. The first one, of course, was the acquisition that we announced 4 weeks ago of the La Trindade concession. As I said earlier, the consolidation of the district was a very important point in the business model for the company. Well, as we are drilling 10,000 meters, a lot of discoveries. When we acquired the Plomosas project, we thought it would be just a lead and zinc old historic mine. But recently, we have proved to the market that not only have silver, high-grade silver and gold veins, but we are discovering as well high-grade gold and copper inside that property. And that property is important to say that it has all the infrastructure for development, power lines, camps, roads. So that saves a lot of company for the future. Another point that's a catalyst here is when you think about that, we have all these 3 projects all together, we can integrate them in a very attractive PEA, preliminary economic assessment, by the year end. Bring the economics of an integrated project, first time ever in the district. The resource expansion can be a major catalyst in the next couple of months, 30, 60 days, because Plomosas, although was a historic mine operated by Grupo Mexico producing lead and zinc, nobody ever done a resource estimation and produced a 43-101 report. This company is the first company ever to put everything in a software in a modern state and estimate the resource and publish the resource. So estimating the resource in 2 areas, 2 resource models, adding that amount of ounces to existing 39 can increase materially the number of ounces of silver that this company will end up controlling probably by the second quarter 2021.
All right, wonderful. Carlos, what upcoming catalysts are there for Monarca Minerals?
For Monarca, number 1 at this point is moving forward on the drilling program for San Jose. As I mentioned, it's our flagship project. It's a never drill project, but with a great potential. So we're going to start with those 10,000 meters to start learning really more about the size of the potential for this property. However, it's a very big land package. So we are actually as we are moving forward on the process to start drilling, we are also start planning for the next phase of drilling after this initial 10,000 meters, because what we see is something really big, and we want to get focused on that. That's number 1. But also, let's say number 2 is on one side, we are exploring a couple of acquisitions of projects that we identified also with a great potential, one in Durango, one in Chihuahua, which are the 2 states where currently we are working on. We feel very comfortable working on those areas. We have been working with the government, with local communities, and so on. So we believe it's an area we continue growing and on a very cost-effective way. So that's the other catalyst, these possible acquisitions. And the third one is, as I mentioned, on one side we want to go back to Tejamen and start doing a new drilling program in a deeper drilling, and expand the San Lucas portfolio. So we have a lot of work ahead, we are getting very busy, which is exciting. The Mexican team is excited to be busy, and we're moving very, very fast, trying to take all the precautions in terms of COVID, but at the same time trying to be as efficient as possible and moving forward. That's the target. So for this year, really is going to be San Lucas number one, and then the rest as a number two, let's say.
Great, thank you. And Robert, what upcoming catalysts are there for Southern Silver?
Yes, well, thank you. In terms of catalysts, we've actually already had one, and which of course was the purchase of the 100% control of the Cerro Las Manitas project. That was completed last fall, and at that point, our trading volume increased markedly, and our share price increased about 2 to 3 times. This has now left us well poised to move into 2021 and continue exploration, continued resource expansion. In the first part of 2021, we were able to release the results from high-grade assays, so sometimes over 6 meters thick of 1,200 grams per ton silver equivalent, 8 meters thick of over 2,000 grams per ton silver equivalent. So a very high-grade mineralization that's really showing just the quality of the target that we are now drilling on where we call the east side of the Cerro. These are areas that have not been incorporated into any prior mineral resource estimate. And so we have, I guess, a total now of over 30 drill holes into this target area. We've had high-grade results come out, and we expect over the next 3-4 months to have additional high-grade results come out from our drilling. At that point, we will do a 43-101 resource update. So basically identify the deposits in that area. These will be cumulative to the already significant resource that we have on the project. And then in the latter part of the year and heading into 2022, we'll be looking at rolling that into a preliminary economic assessment, and then basically putting an economic value, again a preliminary one, but an economic value on the deposit. So those are all things that a series of milestones, but as well a series of catalysts that will trigger as we move through 2021.
Great, thank you. So let's talk about each of your jurisdictions in Mexico. What makes your region in Mexico, or Mexico in general, a great jurisdiction for silver exploration? Marcio?
First, let's talk about Mexico. Mexico is a mining country.
Yeah.
It's the largest silver producer in the world. The largest silver producer company in the world is a Mexican company, Fresnillo. And it happens that they have projects around our projects in the same district. So commercially, legally, and financially is well integrated in some way with all the documentation with the North American market, US and Canada. That helps a lot. The history of mining in Mexico provides a lot of people with skills, a lot of districts with mining history. So mining is not new. So you're not arriving in an area that is the first time a company is going to put a drill hole. So that helps a lot to bring people to be aware and get involved. This company, for example, have 95% of the employees Mexicans today. We have 20 geologists working in the Rosario mining district. So we've been doing business in Mexico, key founders, shareholders, including myself, for more than 15 years. And we believe that's very important to get to know the people, the language, and understand the country. Be fluent in Spanish and to negotiate and work is very important. Going to the region, Sinaloa, where we have the project. There's a mining district. There's a history of mining. Like I said, big companies like Grupo Mexican, Fresnillo operate in the area, even building projects that show that how attractive it is. The jurisdiction, Sinaloa, together with the country, is mining friendly. Sometimes can be a bit bureaucratic, but that's nature of the business in Latin America. Okay. But the key points of the game, all the steps are well known. There's no surprise. There are a lot of discussions in Mexico, talking again about the country, about taxation, because of the new government. Mining is an important component in the industry, but oil and gas is far more important than hard rock mining. So it's very common in any country around the world, in my past experience as a banker, that as soon as commodity prices start to go up, governments start talking about taxes. So, but it doesn't happen overnight. At the end of the day, executives like we three here need to be aware and try to find the highest grade projects as we can, keep the margin there. One thing about Mexico, particularly Sinaloa and other states in Mexico, my colleagues might comment on this, there's always a concern about safety because of the whole widespread problem about safety in Mexico. It's case by case. You just need to be aware and bring that into account in your day-to-day planning to make everybody safe. The same is COVID. We see that the numbers of cases in Mexico is really high. You just need to implement all the key aspects of safety to make everybody, all the employees, being taking care of themselves, their families, and behave properly at work and even outside of the work. But overall, mining-friendly country, very attractive, a good evidence of that. In the last 2 weeks, more than 200 million Canadian dollars have been raised in the equity markets for silver companies with exploration projects, development stage projects in Mexico.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And Carlos, what makes your jurisdiction in Mexico so great for silver exploration?
Well, after Marcio did such a great overview about Mexico, there's not much left as a country, but because he really captured the essence of Mexico. But really, on top of that, it's proximity to Canada, and because of this history on mining, and Canada being a mining country, it's a lot of synergies for many years. So it's as Marcio mentioned, it's people are not going crazy to see that you are drilling. They know the process. You have a lot of local suppliers also with a high quality skilled people and equipment and so on, that makes your life easy in Mexico. In our case, also, if you see Mexico, central Mexico and northern Mexico have been mining for 5 centuries. So in our case, we are in Durango and Chihuahua, are two very traditional mining states as Sonora or Sinaloa. So government, in Mexico, you have those 3 levels, federal, state, and municipal level. We have a great relationship with the 3 levels, and particularly with the state and municipal level, where you are, and the government is eager to help you to create more jobs and pay more taxes and move the local economy. So we've been very lucky to have an open conversation with the governments in Mexico, and share the plans. And in the counterpart, they have been supporting us very much. So we feel very comfortable. And as you probably noticed on my accent, I'm Mexican. So it's for me, going back to Mexico and visit the projects and the communities and so on, it's just going back home. So it's personally for me, it's very easy to do it and take advantage of the network we have been building over the years in Mexico. So it's a natural place to be for us.
Thank you. That's great. And Robert, what about your jurisdiction in Mexico?
Yes, there's in terms of Mexico itself as a jurisdiction, there's really not much more I can add that Marcio and Carlos haven't already said. As a company, we've been operating in Mexico since 2005. And in terms of a number of the people, directors, as well as executive, as well as a number of the employees of the company, they've been working in Mexico for longer than that, into the early 90s and mid 90s. Southern Silver is part of a group of junior exploration companies that also at one point featured Western Silver, which developed the Peñasquito mine. And that's now one of Goldcorp's flagship projects. And so when the Southern was started, we ended up utilizing a number of the people and that were part of the Western Silver team, and so they've been able to help us navigate jurisdictional issues that may come up to it, both on the administrative side as well as the technical side. So I think it's left Southern in a great advantage. The area that we're working in is great. It's southeast Durango. We're out, as I like to joke, we're on the edge of the Altiplano, and as I like to joke, we're out in the middle of the bean fields, not the marijuana fields. And so it makes it a very, very safe area to work. I've been going in and out of the project. This particular project since 2011, I've never had to have security. There's never been any sort of issue. We've met with the state governor on 3 different occasions, and his Minister of Economy on I think 4 different occasions. So we have great support from the state, and we've been very proactive, I believe, in terms of working with the local authorities, the municipal authorities, the local ejido. And again, the area where we're working in is it's a very mature exploration and mining district, and so the local people understand the process, and they like to see us active. We employ locally. The entire face of Southern Silver in Mexico is Mexican, whether that be our administration, our legal support, our geologists, our technical help and staff come from the local town of Guadalupe, Victoria, which is our base of operations. And so in that regard, we've had nothing but good experiences in working in Mexico and in that particular jurisdiction. As Marcio has mentioned, though, sometimes you do have bureaucratic issues, and those are probably the biggest impediment these days is making sure that your tenure transactions and stuff get processed on time, and making sure that those sorts of things are done. But again, we put people in place, locals that know the system, that have the connections within the system, and so to date it's been great, fantastic.
Wonderful. Thank you. Well, so I've got one more question before we're going to open the floor up to the live Q&A. So to all our listeners, please continue to submit your questions and we'll get to them shortly. So to close things off, what's the biggest takeaway about your projects and your company that you want investors to leave this event with you today?
GR Silver Mining, as I said earlier, business in Rosario Mining District, Sinaloa. Today is the company that control all the key silver gold assets in that district. There's no record of any company being in such a position. We are very aggressively drilling 5 drill rigs, so that means a lot of news flows to provide investors opportunity to see the value being added to the company. Major catalyst, 2 resource estimations very soon, potential PEA by the end of the year, cash in the bank, and a large workforce in Mexico, including former Mexican authorities at the board level, showing that we know the business in Mexico and we are very dedicated to that business in that district in Sinaloa in Mexico.
Great. Thank you so much. Carlos?
Thank you very much, Dasha. Yeah, I just want to say to the audience, when we are thinking in Monarca, think about this San Jose project, which is a really new discovery. Today it's a geophysics discovery. It's not a recycling project from the past, so it's a great brand new adventure that we are having, and it's still a really good time to join us. The share performance has been performing really well for the last 8 months. For the last 6 months, we traded over $52 million shares. So for a junior company, it's a really good liquidity, which is important for investors. And but still, we are undervaluated company. If we compare to some of our peers, we are trading probably around 60 cents per ounce of silver, which is like a 50% discount compared to most of the peers. So still, we have a lot of room to grow. Recently, on November, Red Cloud analysts start following us. So they have a couple of reports, one about Monarca, the other one recently about silver, but also they include Monarca. But it's important for the investors to review as a third party talking about your company. So we strongly believe this is just the beginning of a great story. So it's the door open to invite the people to join us to this venture.
Great, thank you. And Robert?
Yes, thank you, Dasha. I guess the main takeaways from Southern Silver is the asset itself, the Cerro Las Manitas silver lead zinc skarn system located in Durango. It is one of the largest and highest grade undeveloped silver-based projects in the world. We've recently assumed 100% control of that asset. We're fully financed with over $9 million currently sitting in the bank, and we're well placed for further success on the project. The ultimate goal is to develop and continue exploring and developing this resource to make it a world-class deposit. And we believe that we are well on our way with the initial results from the first 10,000 meters of drilling, and then future drilling as we head into 2021. So there's lots of news to come, both from the drill hole as well as updates of resources, and then toward the end of the year, start wrapping all of that into economics and getting a proper economic assessment done on the project. Thank you.
Great. Well, thank you all so much. We're going to jump right into the live Q&A portion because we've got a lot of questions here. So Vladimir has a question to all of the panelists. What is the availability of infrastructure, particularly power, and what is the cost of electricity, gas, and other resources, if any? So if possible, we can just go around in the same order.
Okay. About availability of power, the Plomosas project was a past producer mine. A high voltage power line was built in the 80s by the government and Grupo Mexico and is available on site. The same happens to the La Trinidad that we are buying. There's a power line. About the average cost of kilowatt, I don't have the answer right now on top of my tongue, but we can probably provide the audience later. But it's far lower than what would be the average cost in Canada or US. I can guarantee it to you.
Great. Carlos?
Yeah, in the case of Monarca, it's our three projects are in a very easy access from the paved road. And San Lucas is just like 5 kilometers from Argonaut Gold, from the Castillo complex. So we actually can just get on the road, and from our property you can see the mine of Argonaut. And Tejamen, it's just like 10 kilometers of open road, let's say, not paved. And San Jose, it's another excellent location. We are like 120 kilometers west of Ciudad Juarez, in a plain area, easy access, power, water. So it's not an issue. And in fact, the case of San Jose, it's a small community, so the relationship with this small community is great. So we have the resources, we have the people, and it's not really any issues around. So we are very comfortable there.
Great, thank you. Robert?
Yes, thank you. Again, the area where we're working is a very mature mining district. We're immediately adjacent to the town of Guadalupe, Victoria. which has, again, it's a town of about 10, 15,000 people. So there's a number of the amenities that one would want and require in terms of a base of operations. The project in terms of power, power lines that run down to the city of Durango run right through the project. Also on the property is the transformer station that Vino Mining installed to run their mine, which is located about 6 kilometers to the north of our property. So there is a terrific amount of infrastructure there. Again, in terms of the actual cost of the power, as Marcio said, I don't have that off the top of my head, but it is significantly less than if you were to use diesel generators to run your project. In terms of doing spur lines off of the main power grid that runs right through the property, again, it's that's going to be significantly less than on projects where you might have to build a power line for 60 kilometers or 100 kilometers or several hundred kilometers or more. And so in that regard, power infrastructure. The water table is located just about 100 meters below surface, and so we actually are using water pumped from the underground workings, existing artisanal underground workings, to run the program, the exploration program. So water resources seem to be there. And so it's again a very good place to be working with a lot of the logistical aspects that one needs both to explore and to ultimately develop a mine.
Great, thank you. Our next question here is: are there any new innovations in terms of metallurgical recovery of silver, both for oxide as well as sulfide-related silver deposits?
I'll talk more about what we are doing as the Plomosa Silver Project. Plomosa was a lead zinc historic mine. So we have a lot of data about the flotation for the lead and zinc with some production of silver in concentrates. What we are doing now, we believe that it's very common in modern technology now to leach the silver and the gold prior to concentrate the base metals in those from those materials that have base metals as a component. We have seen in some initial work that we are doing that we can get better performance in mills and crusher mills to liberate silver as well and increase the recovery. And the use of new reagents that are more environmental friendly and recover the silver. That's what we are doing.
Great, thank you. Carlos?
Well, in our case, I'm not able to comment on that because I'm not a technical person. But if I can get the contact of the person who asked this, I can follow up, because basically our QP and executive VP of exploration, it's a geologist with more than 40 years of experience from exploration to production. He actually used to run one of the operations of a Barrick in Arizona and Continental Gold in Colombia. So he has a lot of experience and already some plans for the different projects. So I prefer to follow up on this one.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great point. We'll be emailing out a survey to all the attendees, and you'll have the opportunity to leave your contact information and ask any questions directly to each company. But Robert, do you have anything to add?
Not really. Again, I'm on the geological exploration side, not on the metallurgical processing side. However, I would like to say, just in terms of the metallurgical processing test work that we've done and completed to date, is that the Cerro Las Meninas system has a fairly basic metallogeny. With it's basically galena, which is the lead mineral, sphalerite, which is the zinc mineral, and then a little bit of chalcopyrite, which is a copper mineral. Most of the silver carries with the galena, with the lead. And so it becomes a very basic and easily manageable flow sheet. So a circuit processing circuit. So in terms of new methodologies, I can't really say. I do know though that that our recoveries are quite good, and that I believe that is because of the relatively simple mineralogy that we have in the in our ores.
All right, thank you. Howard has a question. For silver, is mining output worldwide beginning to decline, or is it still rising?
My view is that in the last probably 10 years, we haven't seen really a great number of big deposits, high-grade deposits coming out or being put in production. We need also to consider that a large portion of the silver is byproduct, a lot of base metals mines. So you see all these two components, like there's a lack of new projects and still reliance on the byproduct of base metals mines. So I see that the overall has been a reduction, but not really a major decrease. And there's an environment here that we see that there's a continuous demand for more and more silver with new technologies. And a lot of exploration wasn't done in many cycles of the exploration history in many countries. And we have silver districts still available. So for the future, we see that there's an opportunity to suppressed supply, less supply, creating more demand and opportunity for high quality silver projects.
Yeah.
Thank you. Anything else to add, Carlos or Robert?
Well, probably the only comment is besides Mexico, also Peru is a great producer of silver historically, but still it's a lot of unexplored regions in Peru. So probably it's going to be also some news from that country as well.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, and again, I think Marcio has said it quite well in terms of silver production. I believe it has been relatively stable. Now demand has sometimes fluctuated, and I think as we touched on earlier in the panel, physical demand for silver has really ramped up over the last little while as well, as people start becoming more aware of it and start looking at silver as a precious metal to basically act as a hedge on inflation or against inflation. So yeah, I don't think there's been any significant increases or decreases. I think world production has stayed fairly stable. But as Marcio has said, that a lot of silver is byproduct. And so there are other factors that may play a role in the actual silver production, meaning that you can't just turn it on and just turn it, and dial it on and dial it off. That you do end up getting squeezes at times, and that reflects then in the silver price and again silver price of explorers and producers.
Absolutely. This question is just for Marcio. What is the current waiting time for the labs to get results?
Can you say again, please? Can you repeat that?
Yeah. What is the current waiting time for the labs to get the results?
It's a very interesting question, because 1 year ago used to be probably 15 days. And things got easy with the pandemic when we were drilling, because not many people drilling. November came and everybody was drilling. Now suddenly, if you get the assays back in 25 days, you're lucky.
Yeah, they're getting busy.
Yeah, exactly. So it's
Okay. All right. Well, John's asking, what are the monthly burn rates for each company, and how long before financing is needed? I feel anyone can feel free to go ahead.
We have 5 million Canadian in the bank. The warrants are heavily in the money. They expire in June this year. They might bring probably close to 5.6 million Canadian dollars. Burn rate probably is close to between 400 to 500,000 Canadian dollars a month. So I think we are well set up for the year. But like most of junior companies, we need to monitor the market and the share price, and always look no way to add value to the shareholders. If the transactions, the financing proposed for a company adds value, bring large shareholders, people who would support the company, might be something that the company would look at.
Great. Carlos?
Yeah, and in our case, we're a smaller team, so the burn rate is something between $50,000 to $70,000. Most of the money goes really to the ground, and we have enough cash in the bank for the drilling program. We are planning to go for another financing after we finish the drilling program. We want to come to the market and share some results first, and then share the plans for the next phase that we already have in mind. But we want to wait. Probably it's going to be around in 3 months, something between May, June, when we do the next round.
Great, thank you. Robert?
Let's see. Right, burn rate. Sorry, I was looking at one of the Q&As, and so my mind started wandering. Yeah, when we're drilling, we have 2 drills on the ground, and we're drilling maybe around 2,500 meters a month right now. They're doing quite well. So our burn rate then with G&A is probably in the 300, maybe 325 per month, and so we are fully financed at this point, $9 million in the bank. We're getting warrants being exercised. That way we in almost on a daily basis, certainly on a weekly basis. So at this point, I think we're fully financed for this year. And so we don't necessarily have to go to the market, and so I think some of that is it the right situation in terms of getting the right people into the company, and or the right companies into the company at this point.
Great, thank you. We have another question for you, Robert. Can you discuss your metallurgy? Are there any issues that concern you?
No, actually, I'm very, very pleased with the metallurgy. To date, we've been able to identify 3 different concentrates being produced from our main deposit. It's known as the Skarnfront deposit, which is the largest of the 4 deposits that we've identified on the project to date. We've been able to produce a lead concentrate, a zinc concentrate, and a copper concentrate, despite not having very much copper in the head grade. We've got over 90% recovery of silver, with about 83% of that going into the lead concentrate and the copper concentrate, which give you better value on your silver price sales. We have a terrific grade in the lead concentrate. I guess it's over an 80% recovery of lead, and the grade is 68% within the concentrate. 5,500 grams of silver in the concentrate. That's a very valuable concentrate. So there's Peñoles has a smelter, a lead smelter, about 100 kilometers up the road. So it's a very valuable concentrate for any of the smelters. Zinc is also doing well. We have just under a 95% recovery of zinc into the zinc con, and it's a 54% grade, which is a very clean concentrate. Again, quite valuable. Luckily, we've kept the amount of silver in that concentrate lower, because you don't get the same value out of your silver in a zinc concentrate as you do in your lead or your copper concentrates. So overall, that's all very good. There's a few small penalty items or penalty elements in there, like cadmium and bismuth, are in the various concentrates, they tend to be single-digit dollar or double-digit, low double-digit dollar penalties on concentrates that could have values as high as $3,500 in terms of the lead concentrate, or $700-800 a ton in terms of the zinc concentrate. So in that regard, yeah, everything looks good, seems good.
Great, thank you so much. So we only have a few minutes, so I'm just going to finish off with this last question from Derek. Regarding the tax issues First Majestic is dealing with, how concerned should miners be in Mexico?
The information that's public domains about the discussion about how the metal stream finance mechanism is perceived by the tax department against the other mining companies who have this valid alternative way of financing available to fund mines. This is something that's becoming more than a hot topic, because metal stream was introduced to mining finance probably 10 years ago. I was heavily involved in a company named Silvercrest Mines, became Silvercrest Metals, was probably one of the first in Mexico. It's a new way of financing mines, which have completely legal, that we can really look a way to really access the market to finance. The point is that I believe the tax department in Mexico is becoming more and more aware of this way of financing and is looking more into the details. It's really creating an environment that mining companies will need to be aware in the future if they decide to finance mining projects using this type of finance.
Thank you. Carlos, do you have anything to add?
No, I totally agree with Marcia. Really.
Perfect. Robert?
Yep, I'm merely the geologist, so I don't. I mean, I was aware that something was happening. I don't really know the details and of what's happening with that. Yeah, so I'll agree with Marcia.
All right, well, thank you so much. That's all the time we have for today. I want to thank you all for this great, incredible panel and taking us through the live Q&A. I also want to thank everyone who submitted questions. If you didn't get a chance to get your questions answered, or if you think of one after, like I said, we'll be emailing you out a survey and you'll be able to leave your contact details and we can put you in touch with any of these companies. And as always, this is being recorded and you'll be able to watch it afterwards on 6.com. And thank you again so much to Carlos, Marcio, and Robert for taking your time and all your great insight today.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
And
Thank you, Marcio.